Hello, dear patchers. This is a little example, tutorial, whatever you want to call it, for how to build your whole performance studio for live shows inside of Patch World. So I'm going to walk you through my setup. This is what I built and played in the show in Altnext in Shanghai. It's probably a stage that I will use for many shows in the future, and I want to walk you through what's happening here. So I'll start from right to left. On the right here, you have the drums section. You have sequencers and 4 drum sounds. You can hear it individually. And this you can't hear individually, but and here you have the sequencers. You notice that they affect the lights. That happens actually. Well, I'll get into how lights work later on. But in general, you have sequencers going into 4 drum sounds, and I have an extra sequencer here that I can use for modulations if I want, for example, this sequence to have another modulation that affects just, for example, another parameter that it's available to be used only for modulating any of these that I want. So I have here 3 synthesized drum sounds and 1 that's like a sampler, a little sampler here that you can, with a selection of different sounds that I can use to insert here. And all of these parameters, as I'm playing, I'm tweaking them by hand. Of course, you can have more either sequencers or LFOs or different things to modulate them live. You see all these little inputs here. You can plug whatever you want to modulate, but I keep it clean and simple also for me to remember where everything is, what everything does. Also, I like to play a little bit by hand on everything, and if I have something that's connected to an important input like the color of a sound, then it kind of blocks me and it keeps running, like for example here, keeps running, then I can't tweak it by hand because it keeps receiving more messages. So I'm pretty modest with real modulations, but it's a matter of taste. Okay, I won't get into how each one of these works. I just want to be high level here. Now, you may notice an important thing here, that each of these, almost all of the sound generating devices like drums, synths, and so on, have 2 ways to hear them, actually. There's an internal speaker that you can see here. It's like a monitor of this instrument. And there's a send out. Now, what I highly recommend is to put all the monitors on 0 if you want to have a live show. Why? Because if I, for example, I unplug the send and I play this, you see nothing is being played. If I turn on the monitor, you can hear it. But this monitor is spatial. So the speaker inside here is 100% spatial. You can actually, if I open it, you can see that this is a little speaker and it has an input here, spatialness. You see? It's set to 1. If it's set to 0, it would be no matter where I am, no matter what's my direction, it will always hear it in my headset perfectly. But if it's spatial and I move here, you can hear it on the left, and the more further away I go, the sound drops. Okay? Also, the drop-off bubble of how far away you go, it drops the volume. You can also control here. So this is a very powerful and good block. Okay, but most of these are set to fully spatial, and so if this is on together with the normal send that goes to the mixer that I'll explain soon, If this is fully on, it affects your mix. When I'm playing here, you will basically the audience will hear the kick drum in this case coming from the right speaker. So basically, it turns the mix into always moving depending on where I am, and we don't want that. We want the sound to be consistent. So I close the monitor and I use the send out. The send out is not affected by the volume of the monitor. It has its own volume here. If you don't find a volume, you can either go open the device and add a component, or usually send out if it doesn't have a volume dial. It just means it sends it normally in normal volume, normalized, and that's it. You can't control it. So you might want to add another control for the send volume. But many of these have a send out dial. Okay, so that's the drums. I put it over here. Then you may notice that the sends, they go to a little device, a little block like this, that is basically transmitting cableless, like a wireless. It's called send stream because it's sending an audio stream, and it will send it to this mixer. This mixer is really powerful, and it's available in the library. It's called Mega Mixer. You can, I think it's free. Let me see. Wait, actually, no, it costs 40 vibes. Okay, never mind. You can afford it. If not, reach out to me and I'll send you some vibes so you can get it. And this mixer is pretty cool. I'll get to it in the end. Right now, I'll just do high level the setup. So here I have my drums. Here I have my mixer. And if I turn this on, you will see there is the channel 1. And it correlates with this send. See the number 1 here? It goes into this channel. If I want more things to go into channel 1, I can just click spawn input. And there you go. I have another channel 1 input and I connect whatever I want to it. The way I set it up is that I have a kick isolated and then all the other drums go into channel 2. Okay. Then let's move on. On the left side, I have all my sequencers and synths that are melodic, harmonic, and so on. So I have here one monophonic synth and one polyphonic synth. And this sequencer is also monophonic. In general, you can actually, if you want to use it in a polyphonic mode, you just have to duplicate it. And then you can actually have different lines of melodies. Let me just give you an example. I have now here polyphony is on 1 on this synth. Let's listen to it. It sounds good. Now I'll tweak this a little bit. I'll change the lower note, the bass note, so it's a bit higher octave, and I'll change the steps count. Let's say 6, and I'll draw a little shape here. And now I'll play it. If its polyphony is still on 1, they will clash. It will get different messages. And this actually supersedes this one. You actually can't hear it. But if I increase the polyphony, yeah, you can actually have more voices, each one being completely autonomous. So that's one way to approach it. This is a really nice synth for creating pretty harsh sounds and also very cute and rounded. Now, the thing with here is that these are really lightweight sequencers and they can be used for both for notes, scaled notes, which follow a global scale that you can set. I'll get to that later. But it also has velocity mode, which basically sends just, instead of sending MIDI notes, it sends notes 0 to 1, not notes, just sends numbers 0 to 1. And that's basically every single interface you see here that's mapped out like these, like this, like these, they receive 0 to 1 values. And what that means is that I can have a melody here And I can have another sequencer that's set to velocity or modulation. And I can connect this here, for example, to the low pass filter. And I can run that in parallel. Yeah, and I can have another one going into the decay, for example. So the same way I had a few lines of sequencers going into the note, the pitch, they have to be on scaled note or notes. I can have different little sequencers that go into whatever I want. So this opens up the possibilities to create very cool, evolving, and very dynamic, cool patterns. Here is another kind of way to go about it, not with a sequencer, but with this device that's called the Jolt Looper, which basically lets you record little loops based on a loop length. You can set to bars or beats. You can pause it. You can play it. This also is available. I think this one is completely free. You can get it, and it's really nice, also lightweight. And basically, I can create just by tweaking this fader automations that go on and on and on forever, and then I can edit it just by moving it again. That's it. So that's my bass. I keep it here on the bottom, and then on top I have a melodic / chords instrument. This one is also super powerful, but can get quite vicious, crazy sounds. You really have to be careful, control it very mildly. It can go really extreme. So basically this works in the same principle as this. The polyphony here I set to 3. The more polyphony you add, the harder your headset will work. So I recommend being very careful and minimal with your setup. The more things you add, the more lag and crunchy sounds you will get, and it's not going to perform well. So you have to be really, really careful on the CPU usage. Oof, I see here it's already like 82%. I should probably remove some things. But anyway, let's keep going. So this sequencer, unlike this is very, very minimal. This is also pretty lightweight, but it does something great, that it lets you write many notes together, and you can see all of the notes here. So if you want to be really exact on how you write your melodies, and to know exactly which note is which, you can use this, and it's really helpful. The problem here is that it doesn't have velocity. It's just on-off notes. But again, you can add velocity from another device like this. This is only for notes, no modulations, no velocity. So the cool thing about this is that if I change the octave here, you see all of these note names get changed accordingly. And also if right now it's set to scale, that is again synced to the global scale of the world. I can also set it to chromatic, and it will be chromatic here. You see, I can change it, and it updates in real time. You can clear the loop, and let me just test it. I'm going to add some notes. Okay, you see I have here another device. This is a LFO basically. It actually has a lot of features in here. It can be an LFO, it can be a little envelope, it can do a lot of stuff. Yeah, and I have it connected to the low pass filter. There you go. Now in this one, you can see that I actually took a single block, and used it in between the synth and the mixer output. That is because I wanted to remove some bottom. This is a high pass filter. If I remove it, there's a bit more muddiness there. Now, we do have EQ devices, but if you want to EQ just a specific thing, I recommend just getting a block. This is a filter block. You can find them in audio. Here you have EQ, band, filter, more expensive CPU filter that takes a lot of memory but sounds good. We have a reverb, pitch shifter, a few things that you can use, some distortion, different stuff. And that's very helpful because this mixer does not have any EQ per channel. Again, it's everything I build here. I'm trying to make it lightweight so that they can work together as an ensemble. So if I put too many features inside one device, then it becomes already like 20% CPU, and then you have 2 or 3 of those, and your session is like blocked. So building a setup in Patchworld in VR, if you're going standalone, it's really a battle of choices of staying low CPU, having variety of actions and possibilities, and sounding good. That's that balance you want to strike. So before getting into the mixer, we went through the drums, melodics, patterns, and now I'll go into the momentary instruments. So I'll start from here. So what I like to do is this level is kind of the music that is continuous, sequencers, loops, all these things. And then above and below, I have more momentary instruments. And these I just drop in, put them in the channel in the mixer, and I can play on them just to add some ear candy, solos, different things like that. Above, I have melodic instruments, and here, percussive, and some of these I can also loop. Also, this one is loopable. Okay. Now, besides the percussive or melodic momentary instruments, I have here 2 just sound effects. This one is purely white noise. This one is purely white noise, and it's filter noise blob. You can find it also in the library. That's free. And this one is just a controller, actually, that controls this crazy little instrument that is a noise machine. And I just add this to control the volume. And I can use the other hand can generate a lot of crazy sounds with this. And then in here, this is an instrument that is not published yet, but you can find them in this X Show template that is going to be available, and you can just grab it and make a copy. I didn't publish it yet. And what this is a combination of a synth and this interface that lets you play chords in a way that there's a sequential relationship of this curve. It's kind of like a circle of fifth. And here you can set if you wanted minor, major, pentatonic, blues scale. Now this is momentary. The more you pull this in, the louder it will get. But there's no way to sequence this right now. The only way off the bat, if you don't want to get into heavy patching, is to record your avatar playing it. You can get it in Make Music, Recorders, and you can get the Ghost Looper. So with this, you can record loops of your avatar playing. But in this arrangement, it's probably going to bother your performance if you have an avatar here. Now, besides it actually changing the chord, it's not only doing that, it's also affecting the global harmony, the global scale that you're in. So for example, if I turn these on, and I change this, you can hear it affects everything that's set to scaled. Here, scaled notes. So like this, you can really change the mood. So it also affects all the other melodic instruments that are set up to follow the global scale. And also you can tweak the sound of it through this synth. What it does is actually, play many notes very quickly together, kind of like a very fast arpeggiator. Okay, so there's a bunch of features here that are really fun to play with. Then lastly, before getting into the mixer, I have general effects of distortion, delay, and reverb. Now that we went through everything and the setup, I'll explain to you how I hook it up and what's my logic. So I'll get into the mixer. First of all, when the mixer comes out of the library, let me just show you how it looks. Mixing. There it is, Mega Mixer. When you spawn it out, you get just the master channel, and then you can add a channel and remove channels. I think you have maximum 10 channels. And each channel works exactly the same way, but it has a different color, a different number, and so on. So let me go to channel 1. You have in each channel, you have, actually let me start with channel 2, for example. Let me run a sound here. Okay. If I want an input to send something to a channel, I click here. I click with my trigger, get an input, then I connect it here. It's already connected, but just to show you. Okay, now it goes to the channel 2. What do I have in channel 2? I have a slider, that's the volume, that's how much is going to the master. I have a gain in case if this top level is not strong enough, I can increase the gain or remove the gain, reduce. Then I have panning, puts it from left to right, right, left. And then I have spread, which creates an offset, delay offset between the left and right outputs only on this channel. Everything that goes to this channel will be spread between left and right ears. Okay? Then I have 3 sends. This one goes to the delay. This one goes to the reverb. And this one goes to the distortion. Okay? That's how all these channel works. But how does the send work? How do the sends work? So here on the master channel, I can spawn a send output, and this I plug to whatever effect device that I want, and that means that this basically I can play this again, or I'll play this. If I take the bass drum and I send 1, this is 3. Okay, wait. Okay, you see, this is the kick. You see the little movement here? You can actually see the kick moving here. If I pause it, then it's not moving. So everything that gets this value up will be sent here. And then I can plug it into whatever effect I want. And that effect, I need to put it into another mixer channel. So these 3 channels are the returns of these effects. And you can see when I turn this on, I turn the distortion to maximum volume. Actually, let's make it a bit more gentle here so you can hear my voice. Let's say, okay, if you can hear, I'll turn all of these on. And you can see that these channels, I can make this is the distortion because it's channel 1. I plugged it here. It's channel 7, goes to channel 7. This is only the distortion. So I can turn off the channel and this is still sends it here. So I have the distortion, the reverb, and the delay. All separate and clean so I can control these effects. Yeah, that's mostly it. The last thing that I can show is that on the master channel, there's also a high pass, a low pass, resonance, and resetting of the filters. That's cool for transitions and stuff. That's mostly it. Of course, I have here some visual effects that are affected by the sound. This, you can construct them, you can use other things, but the main thing I can tell you is that there's a block here called listener that basically aggregates, sums up all of the outputs, monitors outputs from the mixer, from everything, and will just put all of the sound that's being generated into one channel. And this you can use to feed overall visualizations like this one. Yeah, besides that, the only thing I like to add, besides visual effects, is also some visual toys like this one. During playing a show, when there's a nice beat going on, I can just grab something cool and visual and play with it. Don't have to make music the whole time. Once there's a good pocket going, it's nice to just play around, show the environment, jump from place to place, and throw some things around in the air. Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's how you build a setup in VR for live performance. See you later. Oh, and there's a BPM thing here. I can change the BPM. Yeah, there's a lot more things you can do, but this is how I'm like to get started. Bye.